Today's Toy Spot, we are having a look at the Mattel DC Comics Multiverse 30th Anniversary Edition of the Batman Dark Knight Returns Batman. A very short, limited release figures. I spotted I ended up picking this up on eBay. I've never seen these in stores. I think these are now just starting to show up. It's celebrating the 30th anniversary of the Dark Knight Returns. And I think this figure we've gotten before in some variation. Maybe it was under the Batman Legacy collection. I think it might have been also in black at one point. Now it's being featured here in blue. It does come with us from the folks over at Mattel under the DC Comics Multiverse line. Back of the package, other figures available are Superman and Son of Batman, which was not available. Actually, neither of these figures were available to some extent. I feel like body-wise they might have been re-released. They've tooled heads and different limbs and stuff like that to give us something very different. Small parts, not recommended for ages 0 to 3. Spot's going to take a break. We're going to actually have a look at all three figures, but we're going to first start by having a look at Batman here. Going to take a break, get Batman out, and when we come back, we're going to get a better look at the 30th Anniversary Edition of Batman. So more anyway, guys, don't go anywhere. Stay tuned. Batman comes with one accessory, a slightly bent, very basic Batarang in blue. You can take it and put it into his hand, like that. It sadly is the only accessory that this Batman has. I kind of wish he had had something else too, like a grapnel gun. But sadly, that is the only other accessory that Batman does come with. I'm not really sure how much tooling or really where this figure is derived from. Very much feels like a Masters of the Universe Classics figure just because of that bulkiness that this figure has. This similar figure, and maybe it's not really all that similar after all, Batman Legacy collection a long time ago had a Dark Knight Returns Batman that was kind of this big bulkiness. I don't think it had the same face. Kind of have to maybe go back and check my review of that so many moons ago. But it does look like it shares very similar aspects to that figure if memory serves me. Coloring wise, he's more just blue and gray. He's got the utility belt in green, or in yellow I should say, with smaller pockets as well. Very broad, very large Batman emblem. His face is pretty good. Truthfully, I think this would have been an opportunity that they could have given a more grimaced look on his face, as opposed to a very stoic, closed mouth. That's just my preference. I mean, you might prefer maybe more Batman with the closed mouth. I think a grimaced face could have really worked here quite well. The cape is very rigid, very solid blue, rubbery plastic. It's also interesting to note as well that he has posability, but it's like his torso, lower torso underoos are actually a secondary piece over top of the existing articulation. It's not something that really moves around or anything like that. You can kind of get a little bit of wiggle, as you can see, as it being a separate piece. But it's a very bulky, very heavy, not really heavy, but a very solid feeling figure, if that makes any sense. I'm looking forward to actually getting the Superman opened up, because think of the three figures. The Superman looks like this. That figure could probably be my favorite from the line. In the meantime, posability on Batman. He does have a ball joint, very nice ball joint in the head. Tips back and forth as well. You can kind of have the head looking up. Again, very stoic looking. Shoulders hinge out. I mean, actually, the articulation on these is very much a DC Universe kind of rooted look, build to it. So a lot of things of what you remember from DC Universe figures will carry over to the Multiverse figures here as well. A ball joint swivel, or I guess swivel hinge in the bicep area. Just a single elbow bend, no double bend or anything like that. Swiveled wrists. He's got the upper torso crunch, a little too loose for my liking. Swivel point in the waist. Ball joint legs or hinged joint legs. Single hinge knee. He has a rotation right where the boot is, and a hinged in the foot. I like this figure. I really like this figure. I think it turned out quite well. Reminds me of old Spot, like these old videos, like when we used to have a look at DC Universe figures more often. I kind of miss those days. This figure kind of brings me back to those days as well. It's not quite a very tall Batman. He's very big. He's kind of stocky in his design, but that's how he looks in the Dark Knight. I think having the blue color treatment is a different spin, I suppose, as to being more darker in colors. Yeah, I like the figure. Kind of wish he had more, accessories and stuff like that, but I think I'm looking forward to having this guy on display, especially when we get the Superman opened up as well. Today's Toy Spot, we were having a look at the DC Comics Multiverse. We're looking at the 30th anniversary of The Dark Knight, looking today at Batman. Like I said, stay tuned. Spot's going to be looking at Superman and Son of Batman. They're going to be coming around the corner as well. As always, thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.